What's up, my friends? How's everyone doing? Well, I hope. Today, we're going to be taking another piece from the binder, discuss my thoughts and everything about the card I am showcasing today, because my other video did so fantabulous. That Mox Diamond video is actually my highest viewed video next to any shorts, and shorts people are just on their phone doing like that. And pardon my band-aids, I'm a tradesman, cut my hands, what do you want from me? uh, so yeah, we're going to talk about this Gaea's Cradle I bought back in 2017. Very authentic. This was actually a showcase in my how to tell a magic card is real video. I bought this for even a discount back then, so that means today it was such an incredible discount to be able to have a card like this, even though the edges are a little messed up. It doesn't really bother me. The price point I got this card, I think I got it for like 200 flat or like 225 because it was a little dinged up, and people take that sort of thing seriously. The back has that little bit of love, a little bit of scratch. The surface isn't perfect. But for me, and what I use it for, it is absolutely okay. In my eyes, it doesn't bother me one bit. Obviously, in the future, if this YouTube game takes off... Oh yeah, also thank you guys we got the 69 subscribers. The first super milestone number we hit. Next is 100, then 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. What are you going to do? So now I'm going to sit this bad boy up on top of my pile of commons from my Lord of the Rings collector box openings. Check those out if you want to see any of that sort of action. But this card, one thing about the reserve list, because people are very shaky right now. People are very intimidated. People are very scared of it in terms of like its investability, its comparison to serialized cards, its comparison to new age, old age sort of stuff with serialized cards going on. It's not looking as nice since Magic 30. However, one thing I think a lot of people sort of underrate and undervalue and undercut is the fact that the stock price when they reprinted, even though it was collector's edition, essentially, they weren't real cards. They were just lookalikes and from the company, and you paid $1,000. Sheesh. It's just so funny to think about. It pisses me off every day. The reserve list is something special, and their attempt at doing a fake reserve list copy clone, so none of the cards are tournament legal, and there's people pump and dumping it to the moon because they're stuck with heavy bags or their store with not much else going for them, for lack of better words. They're crazy. Anyone hyping up Magic 30 is easily involved, bought like 20 when it was released. Just don't listen to anyone that thinks Magic 30 was a good idea. Not a soul. But that's something that people don't talk about, and people are very nervous going forward, and I was nervous for a bit. Well, when they first did it, I was sort of like, whoa. Wizards always does a test run of things, and then they sort of go from there to see how it ends up. But right off the bat, if there's one thing, if you think Wizards is a blood-sucking conglomerate of corporate greed, the last thing they will ever do again is touch the reserve list. And the two reasons for that is the stock price dumps, bro. I don't know the exact percent. Over 25%, 50% is considered in economics as like a catastrophic mega economic failure. And they were approaching that. So they practically recreated the 2008 financial crisis by making a product. If you think that they would ever do that again, and if they ever do that again, they're actually run by the best game ever created by a human, is officially no contest, run by the stupidest people on the planet. If they ever touch the reserve list again, especially in such an insulting manner, there's no way in conceivable hell they will do that again. 2, the reason why I don't think they'll ever do that again is because Lord of the Rings, the 1 of 1, the serialized ring cards, you can get a serialized human ring, there's 900 of them, for a little under $2,000 now. An elfish one, the prices are a little funky. The lowest I've ever seen one sold is like $7,000. And even then I might be somewhat mistaken, but that's what I think it was $7,000. That's the lowest I've seen one sell. If it's lower than that, please let me know in the comments, but something crazy. So if they can slap a fucking number, and look, I'm not saying they're bad. You know, people will hear me over simplify the matter and think that I'm pooping on people think that I'm pooping on serialized cards. I own them. I don't know if anyone here is familiar with my channel. It's anything like the Mox Diamond videos. There will be a bunch of new people, but I own serialized cards. I buy these. Like, I love them to death. I actually opened this one. Opened it up. I know this is a video about Gaea's Cradle, but I don't hate serialized cards. In fact, I love them. I think they're great, and I'm glad they started doing it. However, with the success that they can cultivate from slapping a fucking number on a card and just sending it out into the wild versus damaging their stock price, like their stock price, we're not talking about having a bad product, right? We're not talking about a little bit of negativity. You didn't really hit the hammer on the fucking, like a sort of Streets of New Capenna level, not that successful of a product. We're not talking about that. We're talking about organ failure. Like, if Wizards went to the doctor, they would have been prescribed like some sort of something that would kill you really slowly and blissfully, so you didn't writhe in agony throughout the night until you killed over. So something that would poison you. That's what they would have gave Wizards if Wizards went to the doctor after Magic 30. Whoever runs that company needs to get a psychological evaluation. But back to the card. The card itself. The card is Gaea's Cradle. This card is Commander staple. As long as Commander allows the reserve list, allows powerful monsters like this, where every deck has a Soul Ring, it's like, you kind of forget how broken this card is when you realize that every deck that's tuned to be good, every deck that would have a pod with Gaea's Cradle, proxies are poop, no integrity, people that take the easy route in life. That's who proxies are for. You're playing with a pod that has Gaea's Cradles in people's decks. They have Soul Rings and Mana Crypts, and probably other bullshit things to win the game. It's really not that broken in comparison to the other crap, but a land that comes into play untapped and can tap for 20 mana, it's hard to try and undersell that to anyone in existence. You gotta be crazy. There's all sorts of synergies. You can fetch lands from your deck with whatever that fucking artifact that Tron plays, and crop rotation up your Gaea's Cradle into play. Boom. It's a tutor, puts it into play. It's crazy. This card will always be one of the cards, and even like if EDH gets replaced by something, this will be a card that just people old and new know. Like, you're only into Magic for so long before you know this as the infamous best land ever card, and sort of the card that everyone wants. I don't know what they're going for nowadays. Last time I checked, it was like 800 a pop. But bad economy, high interest rate environment, I don't really try and concern myself with these prices. I just sort of buy as I go. I'm very level-headed when it comes to this stuff. I never really FOMO in. I don't buy when prices are super high. I have my other investments to worry about, my real life stuff. All my Magic money can go to zero and I won't be homeless, and I'm in zero debt. I have zero debt, and I think that's a milestone everyone should reach if finances are anywhere in your repertoire of skill sets, or you think so, or want them to be a better one. Of get out of debt. Debt is toxic. It's a rainy cloud over your head all the time. Get out of debt ASAP. Fucking duck fet, you know what I'm saying? Duck fet. But it will be a card that will stand the test of time. This is, I consider this in the S&P 500 of old school Magic, because they're sort of like the dual lands is kind of like the S&P, but I would go ahead and slap Gaia's Cradle in there too. There's kind of cards that are just as what's the word, notorious as the dual lands. I think Gaia's Cradle is sort of over them. Honestly, I think Gaia's Cradle is sort of the face of the S&P, and I think a lot of people will consider it to be dual lands. I don't agree with that. I think Gaia's Cradle is above them. Feel free to disagree, but I think Commander is going to keep running the Magic the Gathering world for a long, long time. Lord of the Rings, besides opening the One Ring or a Elvish Soul Ring or something ridiculous, the best product price-wise is the Commander decks. Commander Masters is in the making. It's like $310 or $320 or $330 for a store to buy a box of it. People already are just like, buy the Commander decks. Commander decks are the best part of Commander Masters. Yeah, you know, so Commander's going to be Magic for maybe the rest of time. You know, it's an excellent format. I don't really need to get into why it's the best. Everyone loves it the most. It's crazy. The power level is whatever you want it to be. It just... Commander's going to run Magic for a long time. As long as Commander is the forefront, this card. Buy one if you have the capital and you're not in debt and you have stocks, crypto, real estate assets, a car that is completely paid off, you have a good job, and you want to put some money into some vintage. I would recommend anyone get a Gaia's Cradle. That's just sort of where I am with it. I think Gaia's Cradle is a better card to have than dual lands. That's my opinion. It is warranted to be wrong at any given time. But you know, that's just what I think. I hope everyone likes this. I hope this does as well as the Mox Diamond video. Thanks again so much for getting me to 69 subscribers. It's so much better. I had fun doing this when I had 1 subscriber. But to know that this pops up in someone's feed and I'm able to be positive and sort of shed my own light and sort of help people navigate through a world where, like, I had someone comment, someone's brand new from Lord of the Rings only. They got into Magic from Lord of the Rings set, and they commented on my video, and I got to my 69th subscriber. So I have a good feeling they subscribed to the channel. Just context clues. So I'm glad I can just sort of help people learn more about the game and its history. I was a 2016 guy myself, so I'm not an OG or anything. But I know my way around finances. I know my way around this game. I self-proclaimed incredibly good player. I love collecting as much as I love playing, and trust me, I love to play. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day, and do something that makes you proud of yourself today.